Hey guys, this is going to be a tutorial showing you the steps you should take when sending an export or a render to a client. And this is going to deal with early renders or early exports. So this isn't a final project or a final product. This is just an early render you want to show them. So a few things to talk about first. If you're getting paid for the project but they are paying afterward, like you haven't been paid yet, obviously like you're doing by hours or something like that and you got to hand in your invoice, it's always good to put a watermark and a timestamp or a time code burnt in to the export you're sending them. That way, the video you send them, they can't just immediately post without you getting paid first. So an example of how I like to set it up for an early render. Let's go File, Export. The settings don't matter personally for, like, I'm going to do H.264 because that's what YouTube and everything likes, but that's not what the video is about, isn't the actual format or codec, but the individual effects or what you're placing onto the video. So this is a video I did for Envy Gaming. It's already been released on their channel, but I like to use it as an example. So you can go to Effects. I'm going to turn on Timecode Overlay. You can use it from the media file. So see, it places it in the corner here. But say something like that. This way it's very evident on the video, and when your client is watching the video, they can reference this, and this will match exactly in your timeline. So even if you sent, say, a middle part of the video, I'm only going to send like this chunk here. I want to see what they think of this chunk. The timecode references exactly where it is on my timeline. So it still works out if they're like, hey, at 2:01:11, we don't like the transition or the color here. It needs to be, the whites need to be brought down. So that's a good use of why you want the timecode there. Also, I made it big enough so they couldn't just cover it with black bars and then release this video, say, before paying you. And now I like to add the name overlay, and you're going to change it to a prefix here. So then you can fill out the prefix and it'll write it down here. This one I like to have the background maybe like 40% opacity, so it's not a black bar as evident as this one here. And what's nice about this is you could put the date, like get the exact video here, say Evo, and this is the date I'm sending the export out. So it's 2019 August, and I think today is the 18th. Let me check. Today's the 18th. So I can do that, and then they know this render when watching it. They don't have to look at the file name if you sent them a few renders, but they can see the video right here. So this is the date of this export, so they can compare it to the next one or something like that. But what I like to do is when you're dealing with clients, even if you, especially with early renders, you might tell them like, hey, I haven't done color correction yet. I haven't done any effects. I haven't done any stabilization. This is literally just an early render. I want you to see how the flow is and the pacing of this. Now, you're going to type that to them before you send them the render, but they might forget, or they might show this to someone else. In that kind of scenario, you want it to be on this as well. You could also put the date afterward, but then again, the date will be in the naming of the video or the file. But you can see if they're sharing this with other people they're working with, just to show them, they can be like, oh, so this is, the color isn't done, the VFX isn't done, the graphics stabilization hasn't been placed yet. So you could even write like rough cut and then the date and then have these. But it's just a reinsurance. For one, it protects you again if they try to use the video early. So when you send them the full video, it's clean, doesn't have these effects. But two, this is just making it simpler for some clients, just to help you out in the long run. So these are two things I like to do when sending early renders to clients. I hope this has been helpful. All right, thanks guys.